Hey guys, what is going on? Well, to start this video, let's first off say, listen, I hope you're having an absolute wonderful day. And if you're not, find something that makes you happy and put a smile on your face because it is a great day to be alive, honestly. So in today's video, we're gonna be focused on this breeding tank that I set up in the last video, this DIY breeding setup for profit. And we're gonna be talking about what fish we're gonna be putting in here today, giving you some facts about those, also releasing the winner of the giveaway in the case that somebody guessed the fish correctly in the last video. We'll have to see about that, as well as we went ahead and picked up some additional fish for the riverbank aquarium that I had scaped that you can see right here. I read through the comments, I listened to you guys' feedback, and I went in and picked up a couple of things for this tank that I think kind of bring it all together, and hopefully you guys like that. What I'm going to go ahead and ask you to do before we get into this video is go ahead and drop a like on this video. It is a free way for you to support the channel, and if you truly enjoy the content, go ahead and make sure you like it. So thank you very much for all of the support. So let's go ahead and get into this video today. And we're going to start by, we need to go in here and check on this tank. It's been setting for a couple of days, cycling, and we need to go ahead and do a water test to see if it's ready for some fish. Well, this tank has been set up and running for quite some time now, and we treated this with a dechlorinator as well as some beneficial bacteria. So what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna use this freshwater, well, it's upside down, the book is, this freshwater master test kit from API to go ahead and test this water to make sure that the cycle is actually going. Now, this is not a sponsored video, it's just something I use, but this particular test kit will actually test everything from pH to ammonia, nitrates, nitrites, etc. We're not concerned about the pH, we're only concerned about the ammonia, the nitrites, and the nitrates. And essentially what this is going to tell us is, if there's ammonia existing in the water, that means that there is not enough nitrifying bacteria to actually convert the ammonia to the nitrite. If there are nitrites in the water, that means that there's not enough bacteria to consume the nitrite to turn it into a nitrate. So there's a different stage here that'll tell us where the cycle's at on this tank. Well, our test is complete here, so what we need to do is go ahead and take a look at this, and what we see is, from an ammonia perspective, we've got about right at about 0.50 parts per million. Nitrites, we have 0, and nitrates, we have 0. So what that means is that there is ammonia in this tank, but there is nothing consuming that ammonia, which means this tank is not ready for fish. So we're gonna have to come back and test this later on and see what happens. So we're gonna go ahead and add some additional beneficial bacteria to the sponge filter to try to get this tank cycle started, and then we'll come back and check it later on. So to help start this cycle, what I've done is I've taken the sponge off the sponge filter and actually rubbed that across some pre-cycled filter media in another tank that is well established. I'm also taking a little bit of the substrate out of that tank because it houses fantastic beneficial bacteria, and what I'm gonna do with this is just simply spread this over top of these rocks over here. Now, we're not using a lot of substrate in here, so there's nothing really to hold beneficial bacteria. So we'll give it a couple more days and we'll come back and check on this tank at a later time.
2 days later.
Well, I went and tested this water again, and I didn't want to bore you with that process once again, but the water has tested good, the cycle is started, and it is time for some fish. So let's go ahead and get some fish into this tank today. Well, have you figured out what this fish is yet? In my last video, I actually gave you an opportunity to potentially win a piece of Christopher Scott merch for the first person that guessed correctly. So let's see if anybody actually got this fish right. Well, the person that guessed correctly first is, so all you have to do is contact me via DM on Instagram or an email. You can find both contact methods below in the description. Make sure you contact me and I will get you information on how you can claim your piece of merchandise. I really appreciate you guys participating in these merchandise giveaways, and hopefully you do enjoy them. It is a good way for me to give back to you guys for supporting the channel, so thank you very much. So let's go ahead and talk about what these fish are. These fish are called rainbow shiners, and the rainbow shiner is actually a native fish to North America, and it's found in places like the Alabama River. So the cool thing about these rainbow shiners is they're one of the few fish that we have here in North America that looks like a tropical aquarium fish. And in fact, I'm gonna put a picture right here of what they look like when they're fully colored up. Great thing about it is they're actually prolific breeders, so it's an easy thing to breed in a home aquarium. And in the last video, I showed you how we constructed this tank and gave you hints as to why. Well, the reason we built this rock structure in the back corner that you see right here is because as I was doing research, I found a document that was written by Carol Johnston and Kevin Kleiner of the U.S. Forestry Service and their observations of rainbow shiners breeding in the wild. What they found is that this particular fish likes to use the pit nest of the stone roller as well as the gravel mound of the bluehead chub. So by creating this gravel mound in the back corner, this gives them more of a natural feel. Now, I will also tell you that I did find plenty of research that shows that these guys will completely just breed right on the bottom of a bare tank with no stone, nothing like that, but we figured we'd go ahead and give them multiple options. So we have the pit nest that is up in the top in the basket, we have the bare bottom tank that has no substrate, as well as we have the gravel mound that represents the bluehead chub's gravel mound in nature. So we're hoping that one of these methods will allow these guys to go ahead and breed. Now what they found is that raising the water temperature is what really kicks them into breeding. So we want to get this water temperature gradually up to about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and hopefully that will actually allow these guys to go ahead and start their breeding process. These fish are sexually dimorphic in the fact that the male will color up significantly during breeding, where you will be able to quickly tell the difference between a male and a female. They are also prolific egg eaters, meaning that they will eat their own eggs prior to hatching. Hence the reason we have the gravel to allow the eggs to fall down inside so they can't get to it. We have the basket. If we decide to relocate them into the basket, they'll fall through the bottom of the basket, not allowing them access to be able to eat them. So we have many different methods. The other thing is I already have a tank that's set up right behind the camera actually. So if they do lay on the bare bottom floor, I will be able to take these fish out of that tank and put them into another tank while those eggs hatch. Now you're probably asking yourself, you know, Chris, you've talked a lot through this video, you've shown us a lot of things, but you haven't really gotten to the point of how you can make a profit on these fish. Well, that's what we're going to talk about right now. So I have 12 of these shiners currently in this breeding tank. And if I would have had to have gone out and purchased these shiners, the cost on these shiners individually are anywhere from $8 to $12 US for one of these shiners. The crazy part about it is, and what I've learned about these fish is, that they're actually not captively bred in high amounts here in the United States. They're actually bred in Asia and then shipped back to the US for sale in the aquarium trade. So the cost of those fish go up significantly because of the price of shipping. And at the weight of water, that's crazy. So the cost to get these things back into the country and then sell them to the aquarium trade is extremely high. So my thought is if I can breed these and provide these to a local fish store to be able to sell, I should be able to reduce their cost significantly, which allows for a higher demand of these fish, and it also gets them out into the hobby a little more. So I have to give thanks to the guys over at Fish and Chirps Pet Center in Denton, Texas for hooking me up with these 12 shiners, because what they want is they want me to be able to provide them some of these offspring or fry once they're produced for sale. That right there is how you can do it. I mean, the cost, the underlying cost on these fish is significant. So even if you sold them to a pet store at $4 a piece or $3 a piece or $2 a piece, that's a significant profit on your part for what it's going to take to actually breed these fish. Hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video today. Now that we've gotten those fish into this tank, let's go ahead and take a look at what else we got for this riverbank aquarium today. We went ahead and picked up a couple of things. I really hope you guys are satisfied with what my choices were. So go ahead and take a look at this and make sure you comment below and let me know what you think. So looking at the riverbank tank, I mean, everything in here is looking fantastic. These plants have totally stood up. Now I know a bunch of you were commenting that Amazon swords are in fact root feeding plants, which I've gone ahead and stuffed some root tabs, quite a few of them, down into this sand, just so these guys do in fact get the nutrients that they need. Now these neon tetras, as you can see, they're starting to follow me because they know that they're going to get fed. But today what we're focused on isn't necessarily feeding these little guys. It's actually going ahead and adding 2 more species of creature to this tank. So I've taken the recommendations from you guys and I picked 2 things that I think will fit in here perfectly. One is a semi-aquatic animal and the other is another fish. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got. All right guys, this first one is going to be gold claw fiddler crabs. And if we take a look right here, we have 2 of these beautiful little creatures. And they're gonna sit and they're gonna check out their environment, figure out what they've got going on. Now I will tell you on these guys, they are going to try to chase and eat my fish. So I'm gonna have to be very careful and just make sure that they don't get a hold of anything. And if they start, then we'll build them just a brand new enclosure that is specific for them or something like that. And if you notice here, that little gold claw fiddler crab is making short work on something on this branch here. The other one, the bigger one, got up in the rocks. I can kind of see him from over top, but he's just exploring around. He'll find his way out in a minute. These gold clawed fiddler crabs or fiddler crabs are actually quite easy to care for. They're omnivores, which means that they will eat both meat and plants, as well as they will possibly eat your fish. So I have to keep a very close eye on these to make sure that they cannot get a hold of these coolie loaches or the neon tetras. However, they, you know, if I keep them fed, they should be okay, but we'll keep a close eye on that. Very cool creature, and because I have this little landmass, what a great idea for something to go in here with these fish. I do not remember who had said to add these, but whoever gave us that idea, thank you very much. I think these are going to be a great addition to this tank. Well, this next set of fish that are going in here have acclimated fully, and we're going to go ahead and get these guys out, and as you can see them swimming out there, what these are green fire tetra. I've never actually kept green fire tetra, but we're gonna give it a go, and they look really good. Now they will color up significantly as time goes by and we begin feeding. All right, taking a look at this fish. This is the green fire tetra. The green fire tetra actually is considered a moderate care fish just because of the pH requirements and things of that nature. But after reading about them, they're not overly difficult. They're about the same level of care as the neon tetra as far as I can tell. They are carnivores, which means that they will eat things like bloodworms and brine shrimp or a high quality flake foods. They are a super cool fish, and they're gonna look similar to the neon tetra, except they're going to be green with an orange underbelly or red underbelly, or you can actually get some black on them as well. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys look like when we check on them later on after they've colored up. Well, hopefully more than anything you enjoyed this video today. Hopefully you enjoy these little rainbow shiners. I mean, these things are fantastic little fish. They're super cool. And here in North America, they're almost treated just like a minnow, but they sure do color up nicely and they sure are gonna look pretty. Once we're done with the breeding process, we are going to actually put some of these guys in a community tank because they are very, very much good for a community tank as they have a very calm and peaceful temperament. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. And if you have not liked the video, please do that now, as well as if you haven't subscribed and turned on your notification bell or followed me on Instagram, please do that now. And I am truly grateful for each and every one of you guys. Thank you so very much for all of the support on the channel. So with all that being said, we will see you next time.